Ooh, oh, Saka and Emil Smith Rowe. Guys, I'm absolutely buzzing. Arsenal have just beaten Watford 3-2, and they, as a result, have catapulted up to fourth position in the table. We all know the significance of finishing in the top four at the end of the season. It means Champions League football next year, something Arsenal have not been involved in for 5 seasons, and us as supporters, we've missed that. We need top four, and the boys are delivering, and I'm absolutely pumped, guys, as you can tell. And appropriately, I'm wearing his shirt. Bukayo Saka, man of the match performance against Watford, without a shadow of a doubt. He was the star of the show. So impressed with this guy. He's just going from strength to strength. Only young, he's only 20 years old, and already he is putting in such mature, consistent performances of the highest quality. And he really is causing teams problems on a weekly basis. Fantastic player. He was one of our players of the season last year, had a wonderful Euros with England, and has continued in the same vein as he did the previous season this year, putting in performance after performance where he terrorizes defences down that right-hand side. And he was at the heart of everything wonderful about Arsenal's play yesterday against Watford. It was unbelievable from Saka. Hats off to the guy. Wonderful performance. So let's break it down, people. 3-2 to Arsenal. It was a breathless game. End-to-end stuff. Watford was impressive. They really impressed me. They have some game. Watford have game. They're 19th in the table, but wow, they've got some dangerous players going forward. Emmanuel Dennis, he's already scored 8 goals this season, I believe, in the Premier League, and you can see why. He just gets in great positions. He's strong. He can hold off a defender, turn onto his right foot, get a shot away. He was worrying Arsenal, and so was João Pedro. Cucho Hernandez scored a wonderful overhead kick for Watford to get them back at 1-1. So they had plenty of firepower, and yeah, I was a bit anxious about some of the attacks Watford were conjuring up. So let's break down the game, guys. Arsenal score on 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes, with Saka and Odegaard combining so well. That was one of the biggest subplots of the game, how well these two youngsters combined down that inner right channel. And so Odegaard receives the ball, a lovely back heel, sets Saka on his way. Saka, nice run down the right, cuts it back to Odegaard, who slots it away beautifully on his left foot, just low into the corner past Ben Foster in the Watford goal. Sets Arsenal on their way. And then Watford get a stunning equaliser, the Cucho goal that I just mentioned. Again, Dennis, nice pass to Feminio, I believe, overlapping for Watford on the right-hand side. He puts in a pretty good cross, but Cucho Hernandez is incredible athleticism to sort of extend his body backwards to retrieve the ball as it's behind him and position his body in such a way to generate power, kind of leaning back, and the sort of acrobatic overhead kick, semi-overhead kick, and it comes in off his shin. Awesome equaliser from Hernandez. And then Watford went into their shell a little bit, and Arsenal seized control of the game, started orchestrating a number of flowing attacking moves going forward, and get that second goal to go 2-1 up. And again, Saka instrumental in the goal, not just by scoring it, but he won the ball back off Cleverley, who dithered on it a little bit too long, and Saka kind of nipped in behind him, took the ball off him, and then rolled in Lacazette, who played an exquisite little back heel roll on his studs, perfectly weighted layoff, and Saka was able to then come back onto it, and pretty much first time, wrong foot Foster with a wonderfully curled left-footed drive into the roof of the net, into the top right corner. So wonderful finish from Bukayo. So impressed with that. And then Arsenal go in 2-1. You're thinking this is pretty good. And Arsenal's best three players in that half three of them were attacking players. So Saka, Odegaard and Lacazette, three of the guys I mentioned. And it continued in the same vein in the second half. Wonderful re-establishment of control from Arsenal in the early stages of that half. Martinelli, who was perhaps the quietest of the four attacking Arsenal options in the first half, scores an excellent goal. And Mikel Arteta was also involved, guys, in a very amusing way. So he steps out of his technical area. So the ball goes out of play. Arteta steps out of his technical area, clearly buoyed and in a rush and keen to get Arsenal back on the front foot. Steps out of his technical area to throw the ball to Saka, who takes the throw in. Technically Arteta shouldn't be getting out of his technical area, but I love the intensity, guys. I love the passion from Mikel. It's really emblematic, that moment from Arteta to get the ball back, having stepped out of his technical area, for me is emblematic of this purposeful, passionate and zestful Arsenal team. And then, okay, Saka throws the ball in, guys, and then again, wonderfully intricate play between Martin Odegaard and Alex Lacazette. And Lacazette, again, with an exquisitely weighted assist for Martinelli, who puts in a sublime finish into the top left corner. No chance for Foster. And you're thinking at this stage, okay, Arsenal, we're in control, 3-1. Pepe and Nketiah come on, as they did against Wolves in the last game. And both of them have shots, both of them look effective. Nketiah hits the post, and you're thinking, okay, if Arsenal can just get one more goal here, they can really kill Watford off and ultimately prevail as comfortable winners. But as has been the script in 2022 and pretty much all season, it becomes very tense again for Arsenal. And okay, so Watford hit a nice through ball, and Sissoko put some pressure, is bearing down on goal for Watford, and Ben White comes across, and it's a little bit of a feeble tackle from White, and Sissoko kind of wins the 50-50 and then slots in the finish past Ramsdale, and you're like, no, 5 more minutes of Arsenal hanging on. So the score's at 3-2 at this point, and Arsenal are hanging on as supporters. I was certainly thinking, oh, not again. We've just had the Wolves game a couple of weeks ago where Arsenal were hanging on with 10 men. The first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final against Liverpool where Arsenal are hanging on with 10 men. And I'm like, oh no, here we go again. But fortunately, with a touch of fortune this time, I think, because Arsenal were looking a little bit shaky in those closing moments. It wasn't as assured, the way Arsenal finished off this game, it wasn't as assured as it has been in other games. But courtesy of a couple of overhit goal kicks, free kicks from Ben Foster in the Watford goal that sailed into Ramsdale's hands, Arsenal were never really tested, and I don't think Watford had any meaningful opportunities. Their substitute, Kalou, had a drive or a shot from outside of the box, which was fairly routine save for Ramsdale, but apart from that, they didn't really threaten, and Arsenal were able to hold on for that win. And it's a huge win, guys. As I said at the beginning of the video, it puts Arsenal into the top 4. And not only that, but we have games in hand on Manchester United and West Ham United, who are the 2 teams directly below us. So Arsenal have played 25 games, and I believe, what's the points tally? I think it might be 48, something like that. It might be in and around 48, having played 25 games, whereas Manchester United have played 28 games and are on 47 points. And I think it's something similar for West Ham. I think Arsenal is 6 points ahead of Tottenham on 40, who have 42 points, but have played the same number of games. So in theory, if you look at the points per games ratio in terms of a percentage of points you've won in every game, Tottenham are Arsenal's closest challengers statistically. But as we know, guys, there's no guarantee of winning games in hand. But the fact Arsenal are now in that position, they've taken up residence in the top 4 officially in the table, is a really big psychological step for Arsenal. Of course, in these 13 games, the tests are going to be severe. Still, Arsenal have to go to Stamford Bridge. We have to host Manchester United. We have to go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to play Tottenham. We have to go to the London Stadium to play West Ham United. So teams in and around that top four, Arsenal have got to play all of those teams, not to mention Liverpool. And of course, all of the teams around that mid-table area will have to play Brighton, there's Crystal Palace, have to go to Villa, playing Leicester at home next week. So the games are not easy, no way. And this is not over. But the way Arsenal are playing and the way Arsenal are constructing their attacking movements, their attacking sequences, suggests they have enough quality to continue to rack up these wins. And that's what's going to be important. How many wins can Arsenal accumulate? I was looking at the table, guys, just a couple of hours ago, and it seems that Arsenal have only had 3 draws this season. And that is important because it shows to me that when Arsenal are competing, when Arsenal bring their game and are establishing a foothold in matches, they're going on to win these games. There's rarely a moment where Arsenal drop points because they've drawn a game they should have won. And that's been important. They're actually capitalising when they are in control of matches. Sometimes it comes down to a tense finish where Arsenal have to weather a storm from the opponents. But generally speaking, they're staying mentally strong and tactically disciplined in their setup to ride out these wins. And that's been very impressive. So all power to Arsenal. They're doing so well at the moment. And once again, Arteta's energy on the touchline was the embodiment of Arsenal's intentionality out there. He really exuded that sense of purpose, as I mentioned, people, that sense of enthusiasm and understanding and an awareness of the moment, an awareness of what had to be done, an awareness of what was at stake. And Arsenal didn't let the occasion interfere negatively with their mindset. On the contrary, it seemed like they were buoyed and inspired by the thought of going into the top 4. And they've taken that step now, people. So 13 games left. Where do Arsenal go from here? Well, we've got a week now, people. Arsenal have got a week to prepare for the next game, which is a home to Leicester City in the early kickoff on Saturday, the lunchtime kickoff. Leicester have started to hit a bit of form, people. It's worth noting. They beat Randers in the last 32 or the last 16 of the Conference League convincingly. We don't know how good Randers are, or I don't know how good they are. I haven't seen Randers play, but you're playing a European opponent in a latter stages of a knockout competition. Still significant that Leicester got through that game. They've also gone 2 wins on the spin in the Premier League, beating Burnley, who have been on a decent run themselves, at Turf Moor. And then at the weekend, they beat Leeds, who had their first game under their new coach, Jesse Marsh. So clearly Leicester are finding a bit of rhythm, and they're going to be inspired. They're going to want to put a marker down to Arsenal to say, hold on, guys. Because Leicester, let's not forget, Leicester were in a top 4 battle in these last 2 seasons and missed out. So all of a sudden, Arsenal have kind of leapfrogged them in the pecking order. Leicester aren't going to want to let Arsenal just have this parade of like a top 4 party. Leicester are going to want to be the spoilers of this Arsenal party. Make no mistake, Brendan Rodgers is going to be aware of the landscape. He's not the kind of coach that wants to be playing second fiddle. So he's going to want to upset the Arsenal party. I think Arsenal need to be aware that Leicester are going to come at this game 100%. As a result, Arsenal need to assert control, authority from the get-go. How do we do that? So much the same as how we've been doing it. So I like the front 4, guys. I like Lacazette up top. I've been so impressed with Lacazette, guys. I know he doesn't convert enough of his chances, perhaps, but how he links the play, his intricate passes, his first-time flicks around the corner, his little roll-offs. I heard a stat that no one has registered more assists in the Premier League since mid-December than Lacazette. Okay, there's only been 1 goal in that time, but generally his play has been fantastic, and he's a big reason why Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, why these younger guys are having the opportunities to score. It's because Lacazette is linking the play so well. So he's an integral part of this Arsenal system. He's the captain as well. And he's leading by example, guys. You can see how inspired, how much it means to him to be wearing the Arsenal shirt and to be the captain of this Arsenal team. And that's huge. We have so many young players. We're the youngest team in the league. A lot of guys 20, 21, 22 years old. To have Lacazette, 29, 30 years old, in that team is invaluable for Arsenal. Having that experienced head. So Lacazette up top has got to keep playing. So I'd play Lacazette again against Leicester. Saka on the right. It's an absolute no-brainer. He has to start. Definitely Odegaard is the number 10. Probably stick with Martinelli. Smith Rowe was out with COVID in this game, so he's probably not going to be up to speed. And Martinelli was looking lively enough, and then he got that wonderful goal in the second half. So I'd stick with that same front four. Partey and Xhaka at the moment are establishing that partnership. Tomiyasu looks like he's still struggling with his calf injury, but Cedric's been deputising fairly well. So at the moment, happy with Cedric there at right back. Tierney left back. I'd stick with Tierney. Then in the centre, Gabriel and Ben White. They've had their shaky moments in the last couple of games, but generally they've been busy enough to help each other out. So if one of them has slipped up or lost concentration, the other one's been there to have a more steady few minutes, a more stable few minutes to make up for maybe the lapses of the other guy. And then Ramsdale in goal. So I think the 11 is pretty set at the moment. But Arsenal need to bring the intensity. Xhaka and Partey maybe didn't have their best game yesterday against Watford. They need to be at the races. They need to be really up for this game to control that midfield, to not allow Tielemans and Ndidi, Maddison, Barnes, these runners that Leicester have from the sort of centre to forward positions. Don't allow these guys time to get control. Arsenal need to establish that control from the centre of the pitch. And Saka's going to be an outlet on the left. Utilise Saka, get those interchanges going with Martin Odegaard, Lacazette linking the play, and we'll create enough moments. I'm confident we'll create enough moments to worry Leicester. Beat Leicester, that's huge. Of course, it's one game at a time right now, guys. That has to be the mantra. I know it's a cliche, but Arsenal need to go one game at a time. Take it step by step. However, moving beyond that, so the next few games, guys, before the international break, we've got Leicester, as I mentioned, then it's Liverpool in midweek, and then after that it is Aston Villa. So these are 3 games against teams in the top 12. We're not playing any teams in the relegation zone. We're stepping up in quality. We've played, Wolves were a very good team that we've played, but we've played Brentford and Watford in recent weeks, teams in the bottom 6. This time we're playing teams in that top 12. So Arsenal need to be on form against Leicester. They need to be measured and controlled and precise in their patterns of play. There can't be any lapses or slack passes. Even Ramsdale was doing that a little bit yesterday. Arsenal need to be 100% focused. So that's the order of the day, guys. Preparation, taking Leicester very seriously. Need to take this game very, very seriously, guys. Leicester are quality on their day. They've got Vardy, they've got Tielemans, they've got Maddison, Barnes, Iheanacho, Patson Daka. They've got some excellent players, really. So Arsenal need to be on form to maintain this position in the top 4. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, shoot through your comments. I'd love to hear what you think about what unravelled against Watford and also Arsenal's general standing this season. And make sure you have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Monday, everyone. And we'll catch you. I'll catch you on the other side for some more content, more Arsenal previewing, reviewing, reactions and analysis. Okay, everyone, have a great day. Peace.